From two dirty painters to multiple seven-figure business owners, I'm Redion.
And I'm Karmelo.
We'll be giving you guys the insider secrets to take your trades business to the next level.
From crazy stories to proven strategies, get ready to supercharge your business with us.
Welcome to the Dirty Painters Podcast.
In today's episode, we're going to be diving into the mindsets and skills that are necessary to scale your business from making about $500,000 a year to 7 figures a year. If you haven't listened to our last episode about building your business from scratch, go listen to that one immediately and come back to this one to learn how to double your sales. Let's get right into it.
If you're not ready to scale your business, though, skip this episode.
Yeah, go stay in phase 2.
This is not for the lighthearted, guys. I want to start this episode with a little kind of like meditation, prayer, or whatever is going to set the tone to start this episode. So you achieved a decent milestone. You achieved 0 to 500K a year. That's phenomenal.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. You're doing great. You're on the right path. Now imagine if it can turn out better. How would that look for you? So success, guys, will demand 6 things. Number 1, hard work. Don't believe in luck. Believe in hard work in this phase. Patience. If you are losing the patience, you are losing the battle. And you're going to need a lot of patience in this phase. Number 3, sacrifice. If you don't sacrifice for what you want, then what you want becomes the sacrifice. This is the phase, guys, where you're going to be making a lot of sacrifices. Number 4, consistency. Consistency is what transforms average into excellence. Number 5, discipline. Motivation gets you going, but discipline gets you growing. And then number 6, the last one, self-confidence. Confidence is not like, oh, they will like me. Confidence is when you walk into an estimate, into an appointment, you're like, I'll be fine even if they don't like me or if I don't sell the job. These are like 6 rules that you need to write down. You need to put them on your vision board, and you need to go over them every single day.
Note these down, repeat the last minute again because these are very valuable.
Yes. This phase, guys, this is what makes you or breaks you. So like we said earlier, you went through the technician phase, you went through the manager phase. Now this is where you're like, okay, now it's time to join the big leagues. Now it's time to push to 7 figures, the $1 million a year in business milestone, which a lot of paintings, I would say 80% of painting businesses, they never hit that milestone. There's 3 courses that your business can go from this point, the 500K mark. Number 1 is getting small again. You reach the 500K, things are getting overwhelmed. You had a few guys, one guy left you, you're not getting enough work, things are getting a little bit hectic, you're stressing out, you're not sleeping at night, you're not making as much money as you're expecting to make. So you're like, well, you know what? Fuck it, man. Let's downsize. I'll go back on the field myself. I'll have like 2 helpers. I'll do like 3-4 estimates a week. This is too stressful. We were at that point. I was at one point, I remember significantly, it was summertime in Michigan, which we got flooded with work. And then things were like, I remember at one point, we had 4 job sites open. We didn't have enough guys. At one job site, it was my dad and another guy. One job site was Karmelo by himself. One job site was me with a helper that had no experience at all. It was a clusterfuck. And like that, those jobs all went south. We didn't make any money. We didn't deliver quality product. They got dragged out. It was a nightmare. And I was like, Carmelo, what the fuck are we doing? I remember we were eating, what was that sandwich spot?
Penn Station.
We were eating Penn Station. I'm like, bro, what the fuck are we doing, man?
I flipped the switch, though, that moment.
I was like, let's go back. Let's go work as subs. Let's go do our own thing. This is too stressful, man. And I remember eating the sandwich. I was like, fuck, let's go back. I'm going to go back working on my field. Carmelo can go back to school. Let's, this is too much. And then I went home. And I was like, fuck this. I remember I got a nice ass lead. I was like, let's go sell it. And we sold the lead. Great people. And it's like, fuck this. We're not giving up. We're not staying stuck. We're not going backwards. We're going to figure out how to move forward. And I remember we reconciliated. We got back on the drawing board. I was like, okay, no more excitement when we get a lot of jobs. We're going to fulfill what we can fulfill with our current capacity. And we're like, okay, we're gonna go back, all the guys together. We're not gonna stretch ourselves thin. We're gonna do one project, two projects at a time, and we're gonna make sure those projects get done perfectly.
Is that the point you think that where we started implementing this floating schedule
Yes,
that we
that's
still
what
do
I
to
was
this
like.
day?
Yes,
Yeah.
because in the beginning, and again, we were young, we were money hungry. We're like, okay, all these projects
do
are
them all
coming.
at
We
the
can
same
do
time.
them all. Fuck it. Yeah, I'll do it. I'll start it tomorrow. And then we got overwhelmed. That's when I was like, okay, this is not how this works. We're gonna fucking run ourselves to the ground. That's when I started implementing the floating schedule. Leads will come in and be like, okay, we can get to you in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or after I finish this project. And then people were understanding, or we're losing leads, but we're not compromising quality of product. We're not compromising fulfilling the project, and also not like I remember that was like a hell week. It was fucking nuts. We are working 12 hours a day and nothing was getting done. It was insane. And that was like you said the point where I was like, okay, floating schedule from now on. If we can get to it, you're gonna have to wait, or you're gonna have to find somebody else. We almost went back to the way we were doing things, downsize or even quit, but that's the point where, like we said earlier with the rules, you have to have patience.
Mm-hmm.
That that's where patience kicks in. You cannot expect instant gratification. And then we persevered. We pushed through that phase, and we started like, okay, how can we be better? How can we make ourselves more efficient?
And that's also something you said at that point. It's always better to under promise and over deliver than under deliver and over promise.
Say that again. That's fucking killer.
Don't over promise and under deliver. Under promise and over deliver.
Huge. Never
Big thing.
Yeah, never make promise that you can't keep.
Yeah, I could get this done, and you don't get it done. You seem like a bozo. Like,
Literally.
yeah, I can get to you in 2 to 3 weeks. You get to her within 1 week. Oh, badass.
Or I'll finish in 4 days, and you finish in 2 days, 3 days, a day earlier.
Fantastic.
Boom. That's how you have to do things. Don't put that stress on yourself, because then you start cutting corners. You're like, oh, you're stressing out. You're working 14 hours, and guys, you're at most efficient when you work 8 to 10 hours a week. Anything past that,
A day.
uh,
8 to 10 hours
yes,
a day.
a day. Don't work 8 hours a week. You're gonna be broke.
1 hour a day, that's enough. But yeah, 8 to 10 hours a day is...
8 hours is the happy medium that we found out, that we've had hundreds of crews, hundreds of guys. Past 8 hours, then efficiency starts going down. And then that's when mistakes start happening. Always keep, okay, this is the time frame that we need to get things done the right way. So that course, most painting businesses take that course. And I've seen it a lot of our consulting clients too. They get overwhelmed. The leads start coming in. They hire a second crew. They hire more painters, and then things start going a little bit crazy. They cannot control the chaos. And like, oh man, fuck this, Redion. I'm turning the marketing off. I'm going back to my old ways. I'm like, okay, no refunds. It's your fault. I told you it's not gonna be easy. Once the fucking work starts coming in, you have to be able to control the chaos. So that's one way, one course that you can go on this phase. Second course, going for broke. And that, guys, we've experienced it. That's another alternative that the business has. It's certainly less painful and definitely more dramatic. You just keep growing fast until you self-destruct. And we've experienced that. We grew so fast for like a season. And I remember we had 6 full-time painters. Karmelo was working in the field. My dad was working in the field. I was helping on the field. I was doing estimates. I was doing marketing. We had so much work. I hired a sub crew, which fucked us. Then we started another crew, which went fucking south. We had so many projects booked with deposits. That's the worst thing too. You have deposits, you're putting people on the calendar, and you're not fulfilling those promises. Money was being lost. Jobs were getting fucking botched up. We had to go back for touch-ups. I remember significantly that one job in fucking Novi, when we had a crew working there, they said they finished, and the homeowner calls me like, dude, you guys got fucking paint drips all over my floors, my toilet, my countertops. And I had to drive from where we were there. It was like an hour. And then coming back, I got stuck in traffic. It was like a 2-hour drive. I was like, holy shit, man, this is fucking insane. We're not making any money right now. We're busy, That's another thing that people fall into the trap. They're like, oh, we're so busy, but they're not making any money.
Yeah, you're not.
We're not making any money at all at that point. I was like, oh shit, we have 8 jobs running, and I'm like, where's the money?
Yeah, exactly.
We're losing money at that phase, guys. Because you have the momentum, people start referring you, you're doing well in your previous phase, your work, like your brand starts going out, your marketing starts performing, you've been already in business for 12 months to a year and a half, and then things will start compounding, and then that momentum that you're building, you can get you to the point where you fucking call it quits. You're like, fuck, this is too much, you're losing money. That's why we call it the going broke course, because you can literally go broke. Your credit cards are overdue. You have to pay Sherwin Williams. Your invoices are due. Your guys need to get paid. You still haven't gotten paid from jobs. Your deposits have run out. You have to pay guys. Customers are pissed. They're not paying you. You have to deduct money. You have to go back. You have to pay guys to go back and fix things. Your subs are screwing you. You have to redo the jobs. That's that was one period where we're like, holy shit, we'll never make it to $1 million a year going like this. We never even thought we were gonna make $1 million a year at that point. We're like, fuck it, man, let's downsize and work ourselves. This is too stressful.
There was that point, but we kept to it. We went to the drawing board. We're persistent, and hey, this is what we got to do.
This is the point where the technician turned to manager gets overwhelmed. And it was me at that point, and I was transferring that overwhelmness to my brother and my dad. I was like, guys, this is fucking crazy. I remember I was having fucking anger issues. Everything was going south, drinking 3 monsters a day. It was fucking nuts. But if you learn how to control that chaos and also implement better SOPs in that phase, and then be better at recruiting and filtering out all the bozos and the bullshitters, you can get through this course. So in this phase, the manager realized that growing a business is not easy. Fuck ups happening at every job, going back for touch ups, happening pretty much every day. You're losing money, your crew is not producing, you're running low on cash, and paying your crews and vendors is just like you're fucking losing it. Absolute chaos. That's when most painting business call it quits, go back. And then the third course is you surviving going broke. You go back into the drawing board, like my brother said. You figure out what you're doing wrong. You figure out what to do. What are the solutions? Like, for example, I remember, like, I'll never forget that to the day I die. Driving 2 hours back in traffic, sitting there. I'm like, if I would have just told those guys to cover every single floor with paper and then cover the vanities with plastic, I would have not wasted 6 hours of my life and a pissed customer. I had to deduct money going there, cleaning fucking bathroom tiles. And I'm like, it was so simple. I could just be like, hey guys, cover everything before you start painting. And that's what flips the switch for a lot of things. I was like, okay, it's SOP's time. And that transition, that point was after you survive that this point and then you control the chaos, you hit a little valley. So after we went through that chaos period, we hit like a little valley. Everything was cruising. Our crews were doing okay. We're making a little bit of money. We were less stressed because we didn't have a bunch of jobs on the pipeline with deposits waiting for us. So I was like, now it's a time to keep it cruising at this point, 30 to 40K a month, add maybe another extra 10, and I figure out how those 2 crews, 3 crews that we had at the time, those guys, how we can get them more efficiently to the next level. At that point, and then Cody Paints asked me a great question: is do you scale with employees or do you scale with sub crews? If I could go back to that point, and then I know Cody, you asked me that question because you're at this point that we're describing right now. You're doing about 500K a year, and you're looking to go to the next level. So Cody Paints, for context, he has 4 full-time guys and he has 1 sub crew. And then he's out in Tennessee, good market. His business is growing. He's still on the field. He's trying to pull away from a technician to manager slowly. So Cody, if I was at your shoes, in your shoes right now, and I could go back to the point where I almost fucking lost it, I'll be like, find good sub crews which you can delegate, and then you can have than produce jobs from A to Z. The less managing you can do, the better. Plus, you splitting the risk. Do it this way. Hey, you find a good sub crew, you guarantee them work. That's what sub crews want. They just want consistent work. You guarantee them consistent work. You're like, hey, once the job is done, you'll get paid. That way, you're offsetting the risk. If they fuck you, you don't pay them. If they do good, you take care of them right away. And that's how you're gonna build a good relationship. And then you're gonna remove stress from yourself to go manage the job, check the job, drive an hour, make sure those guys go pick up the paint, go drop them a roll of tape, all that bullshit. Find a good crew at this point and phase of your business, a good sub crew that you can delegate projects and then they can get fulfilled without you being there and babysitting them pretty much. And that's what I recommend to everybody that is having those growth pains at this point. Find good sub crews. There's a lot of them out there. We thrive into they only work for us pretty much, and then they still have the freedom to do the side projects, work for somebody else if we're not busy. But having those crews that they represent the brand, and then you still train them on your SOPs at this phase is vital, and then you can attest to that. Have those crews. Make sure you find them, and then they'll help. It'll accelerate your growth significantly.
Yeah, I fully agree with that. Sub crews at this point, I think, are very important to help you grow into that 7-figure mark. But also, I would say maybe have your main guys as well.
Yeah,
Have a mix of both, a good
Have a
mix
mix
of
of
both. But I would say keep your sub crew list, or have a few good people,
so how we
just
did
in
it
case
is,
anybody flakes on you.
yeah,
Or
we had our W2 guys and we had our 1099 sub crews, and then we went through a lot of sub crews in Michigan. But we always had the cushion of if this sub crew fucks us, we still have our full time guys that we can go fix the job no matter what. In this phase, make sure you have a good mix of both. If you get a overwhelming workload, you still have your reliable sub crews that you can give them jobs and increase your cash flow. If you don't have enough work, then that's why the sub crew, you don't guarantee them 40 hours a week. You have to keep your main core 40 hours a week busy. And it's going to be less stress for you because one of your biggest stresses at this point is keeping guys busy. That was our biggest stress. We're like, okay, keeping guys busy, and especially when we hire more guys, it's your responsibility to keep those checks coming in for them because like we said, those guys, they have responsibilities, they have families, they got to pay bills. With a sub crew though, they have options. They can work for you, they can work for somebody else. You're not stressing as much to keep those guys busy. It's vital to eliminate as many stresses and headaches as possible in this phase. This is also the point where you make your two key hires. So if you're at 500K and then you're the manager, and then let's say your marketing has been working well, you get enough leads, um, you increase your budget, you're spending more money on Facebook ads. This is the point, 500 to 700, where we didn't hire an estimator because my brother was next come up in line. But if you don't have a brother, you hire a salesperson, a commission-based salesperson. You have let's say 6 guys full-time running, 2 crews of 3 each, and then you have a good sub crew, maybe 2 good sub crews. You get a nice influx of leads that you can keep because you're still in this phase, you're still the manager, you're still making sure your guys are working, you still do the customer relationships, and you can hit every lead that comes in. Once you get to the point where you not scheduling leads and then you're missing leads, you're missing appointments, that's when you hire a part-time commission-based sales rep. So what does that mean? You give them X amount of leads, and then based on what they sell, they get X amount of commission. That way, you're not adding overhead. You don't want a salary-based sales rep right now. You cannot swing that at this phase. You need a commission salesperson. And then whatever they hunt and they kill, that's what they make.
yeah.
And then you're not burning out leads.
Plus, they're not screwing you over. If it's salary based, they don't really care if they actually sell anything. Their work is guaranteed.
Exactly.
When you have it commission based, they're out there, like you said, on the hunt.
They're gonna
Because
chase that lead.
that's how they got to eat.
Yeah, exactly. Salary, we're not big into salary, guys. We need fucking killers. And our organization thrives because the more you put in, the more you get out. We're never gonna cap you. We're never gonna limit you. Even if you're a painter, if you want to grow in our organization, you have to have that mindset within your business too. If your people within the organization want to grow, your responsibility as the business owner is to allow those people to grow. If they say they start from a crew leader, no, from a painter to a crew leader, and they want to move up the chain to be a manager, make those opportunities available for your people. If they want to be a salesperson, because the best salespeople that we've seen in our industry, they actually were painters because they understand the field. Those guys are going to sell the best. Give your people opportunities to grow. Maybe Cody, you said one of your crew leaders, your lead painters, maybe have him go sell some jobs. Maybe he can be a part-time salesperson. After he gets his 40 hours a week, maybe give him 3 leads for the weekend to go sell and see how that works. He can make a little bit extra percentage on commission and still have his base pay from being a crew leader. Give people opportunities within your organization to grow. Don't cap people. After you make your first key sale, you give your key hire. You hire a commission-based sales rep part-time. You delegate and you offload all the smaller leads to them. So I would say anything for $5,000, $10,000, give it to them. Let them go hunt those leads. All the VIP customers, the key relationships, the big ticket jobs, it's still your responsibility to go sell those jobs because those are the big tickets that they make us the money. So those, don't give it to them yet in this phase. Let them get battle tested. Let them go through a few leads. Let them get their face punched in by some customers. Let them take some losses, underbid some jobs. You have, at this phase, you have some cushion into your bank account where you can swing some hits. Some, not fucking burn every job. Once you make that key hire with your sales rep and then things are cruising, then you start thinking, okay, my sales rep is handling X amount of leads, X ticket size. I have 2 crews. I'm managing those crews right now. What's my next strategic move? Our next strategic move was I wish my dad spoke English. We would have made our dad, but my dad doesn't speak English, so he cannot be a project manager. So we made one of our crew leaders in Michigan a project manager. And Karmelo moved up the chain and he started assisting me. He became my sales rep. He started assisting me with estimates because I was getting a lot of leads. I was like, Carmelo, you handle these leads, I'll handle the big ones. And then we moved one of our guys. And not many, we didn't like give him a lot of responsibility in the beginning. He was still a crew leader, but he would go check on jobs. He would go drop
materials.
Yeah, order materials, go drop off paint, maybe go get paid sometimes if we were like, because in Michigan we were hitting all the tri counties. So Michigan tri counties, like big area right here, big area right here, big area right here. So we're hitting all of it. So some days Carmelo would be in a different part of town, I'll be in a different part of town. So for us to drive an hour, it was inefficient. So we'd have the crew leader go get paid, go check on those jobs, maybe grab some content. We start delegating those things. Move people up in your organization. Don't always look to hire outside. Don't always look to go on Indeed and hire the best candidate. See if you can nurture and if you can help people within your organization grow. So we moved one of our crew leaders to project manager / crew leader, and that's when we really start rocking and rolling. So this is the point for your next 2 key hires. You fire yourself from being the sales rep of the business and you only focus on your VIP and key relationship leads. You let the rep handle everything else. And then also you hire your production manager to supervise the crews. The technician in you is gone. There's no more technician you. You're at the point in the business right now, which you're trying to scale to 7 figures, $1 million a year. You cannot be any more involved in the field unless it's some crazy emergency. Obviously, I wasn't gonna be like, oh, we fucked up this job, you need help, I'm not gonna paint, But at this point, and I remember vividly, I was like, Carmelo, no matter what goes wrong, you handle it. I'm not jumping back on the field. I'm not coming to fix it. You're going to handle it. The project manager is going to handle it. The crew leaders are going to handle it. And that's when we started implementing performance pay. We started implementing bonuses for our crew leaders, our people. Like, hey, if the jobs go right, everybody's gonna get bonuses, they're gonna get gas money. That's when we start implementing incentives because we are trying to delegate responsibility and also free up our time. It worked out great for us. Now, once you fire yourself from those positions, now you become the business owner. Now you become the visionary, you become the strategist. You're like, okay, what do I need to add another crew? Get double my amount of leads that come in. Figure out new marketing outlets. Go make a key relationship that's gonna get me 5 jobs a month. Go meet with the designers. Take some designers out to lunch. Do whatever it's need to. Now you start playing chess. Now you're thinking 5 moves ahead. You're like, what do I need to do to produce results? Not now, but in the next 3 to 6 months. Now you start thinking forward. Now you start thinking how I can create a business plan that's gonna help me get to the business to the $1 million mark. And then at this point, highly suggest, I suggest in the beginning too, but we were not educated enough in the beginning to do it. At this point, you need to have a solid business plan in writing, vision, years goals, years numbers to hit, things that you need to do, things that you need to invest in. What do we need to do? We need to buy another van? Do we need to buy another truck? Do we need to buy more sprayers? Do we need to buy a solvent primer sprayer so we're not wasting time
Cleaning them up,
cleaning them
cross
up,
contamination,
cross-contaminating?
etc.
Do we need to have? Do we need to get a shop? That's the point where we got the shop. We're like, okay, we cannot be doing cabinets in people's houses anymore. I was like, Carmelo, we need a shop. We cannot be doing it in our garage or people's house anymore. I was like, okay, I'm gonna start looking for a shop. We got the shop. Then we got the racks. Then I went out. I traveled Texas. I went Florida to figure out how we can make our systems more efficient. I fired myself from all the other responsibilities I have as a manager, as a sales rep. And I was like, okay, now I need to go out there and figure out how I can make a business owner so I can come back and make my organization better, make my crews better, make my managers better, make my production managers better, make my sales rep better. That's when I started taking courses. That's when I freed up time so I could learn more about marketing, learn more about social media, learn more about sales. I read, like, I think in a year, I read like 80 books. And then that's when I came with the 10-step sales process. We start fine tuning things. We were trying things. We didn't even have forms in the beginning. I remember.
Scribbles.
Yeah, scribbles. That's when I started, okay, let me start creating some forms, test them, back test them out in the field, get feedback from my reps, get feedback from my brother, what we need to change. That was a point where we're not super profitable, but the bills were getting paid. The guys were staying busy. We're not behind on anything. And we had less stress. Like, oh, we're barely making it. Let's fucking grind to make ends meet. That was, like we said, we hit the valley, we're cruising. And that's what I was like, Carmelo, we need to figure out now from this valley, how to just fucking go up.
Yeah, all this delegation of responsibility and finding new employees or roles to, assign to somebody else, it frees up that time for you to venture into new business strategies, new marketing strategies,
Mhm.
what you can do to actually help your business scale to 7 figures. Because, like we said in the previous episode, you could be the best painter and all that, but you need to be a great business person to get your business to the 7 figure mark.
Yes. This is the point where you start to think how to hit 100K a month
Mm-hmm.
consistently every month. Not you have one good 100K month and you're like, oh, I'm the best. You need to figure. I know that because it happened to us. Like, oh, Carmelo, first 100K month, let's chill. It happened, and I was like, okay. Next month we did like, I think it was like half that. I was like, what the fuck?
What happened?
I thought we were gonna be $1 million business. And then I was like, okay, he has to be consistent. I need to be doing the same things every month, and we need to have the same goals every month. You can't afford to be slow for your crews, but also your mindset has shifted now. You're thinking as a business owner, you're thinking as a numbers person. You're like, okay, my bare minimum every month now, it's 100K. And you have to make that switch in your mindset. You have to shift. You have to be like, okay, these are our fucking minimums. What will it take to hit those numbers every month? And once I made that 100K mark, my sole goal, no matter what I had to do, maybe spend more money in marketing, maybe make more touches, maybe go and ask for work from project like facilities managers. That's when we started doing more commercial work. I was like, what do I have to do as the business owner to hit those marks? Now you start to have goals in your business that you have to hit. Your mind is racing in how to achieve those goals. This is the point where you start working on your business and not in. And it's crucial to set the groundwork right here so you can push later on to multiple seven figures. Because your goal, once you hit 1 million, then you're like, you're never gonna be content. I was like, okay, 1 million, that's it. What's next? Two. What's next? Two. But this is the point where you need to set the groundwork and those systems for the back end of the business, not just the field. We already set the systems, SOPs for the field on the manager phase. Now we're like setting the systems for the
Business owner
the
phase.
business owner phase. Because again, our goal is to move up. We want to move up the chain so we can bring other people up with us. And we want to make that transition as seamless as possible for them and also easy to execute and learn. That was big. Like, for example, when I trained you in sales, it took me 1 week to train you in sales. What it took me a year and a half, no, I would say 2 years to learn, I taught to my brother in 1 week. I was like, okay, I have the PDFs ready. Let's go through them. I went on a few estimates with him. Boom, done. That was it. Then our sales reps, same thing. It took them a little bit longer, but our sales reps are ready to rock and roll within a month. What it took me 2 years, now I fast forwarded, I can teach to somebody in less than a month.
And it's like a domino effect. So the business owner can teach let's say I was the production manager at that point. You teach me as the production manager, and then I can teach the sales rep to, replace me.
Yep.
So everybody just moves up the ladder. It's like we said, everybody just helps each other up.
Correct.
That's the best way to, delegate new responsibilities and roles. Because once you get to the multiple seven-figure mark,
that's a different beat. We're not gonna talk
Yeah.
about that now. You
but,
guys are
but,
not
but
ready
I'm just
for
saying
that.
further on.
That's why I'm like, hey, it was a fast transition for the people I was bringing up. It was like, Carmelo, this is where I fucked up. This is what I did wrong. Don't do it. And then they wouldn't do it, and then they would accelerate their growth. They would learn it faster. That's why it has to move up. So people need to move up, and then need to bring others to follow so they can learn from their mistakes. I think that was the biggest thing that we did right. I did all the mistakes in the beginning. Then I would be like, okay, guys, this doesn't work. Don't do it that way. And we would just keep learning from our mistakes. Now it's the point where we're gonna help you set the strategy to show you the way of becoming $1 million business owner. And then we'll give you the answers to some key questions that will assist you in the 500K to $1 million phase.
All right. So the first one here, it says, how should I prioritize growth areas as I scale beyond $500,000 in revenue?
All right. So Carmelo in the previous episode asked me, when should I bring other services in? This is the point where you start exploring other opportunities. So each service that we offer, interior, exterior, cabinet painting, it's an opportunity. We get leads in. And now we're running more guys. Now we have more crews. Now we need to keep people busy. How do we create more opportunities? How do we bring more services in? Now we start implementing, let's say, backsplashes. We start implementing tile work because, like we said in previous episodes, it's a high selling point when you can bundle things for customers, when you can offer them multiple services and they only have to deal with one brand, a trustworthy brand, because at this point, you're a trustworthy brand. At that point, we're blowing up in Michigan. Everybody knew us. Everybody like, oh, like we see your ads everywhere. You guys are everywhere. We see your trucks. We see everything. Now it's a point where you double down on that branding, on that trust, and you start offering more services. Now you can be like, okay, I can offer this. I can charge a little bit of a premium to make sure I have badass crews to perform the job. But I can also help the customer by bundling up and give them peace of mind. So this is the point where you can focus on growing in areas as offering more services. And for us was tile, backsplash, LVP floors, and carpentry. This is a great stage where you can start recruiting more crews, or you can start hiring full-time guys. Because I remember in Michigan, we had full-time tile guys. We're doing so much work with drywall, tile, backsplashes. We had full-time tile guys. And then that got us into the door for a lot of projects where we're doing big six-figure projects because we're handling everything from A to Z. Helped our pipeline stay busy, helped keeping guys. And then I remember when we had those projects, let's say we're doing a big interior full remodel, we could bring guys in because let's say one crew is slow, we would just throw everybody in one project just so we can keep them busy. And those big projects that we got from offering multiple services, they were a great cushion to keep the ball rolling, keep the cash flow, and help us hit those targets monthly.
Another question I would have is what new markets or customer segments should I target next? So, obviously, in the previous phases, you're really going to take every job you can get. But for
Yes.
you to get to seven figures, you're not going to get $2,000 job or $3,000 job. It's not really worth your time, is it?
So this is the phase as well where you start positioning yourself as a specialist in your market. And then I don't know if you remember, that's when we started becoming the glass
The
master.
Glass Masters, the slogan.
Yes. So the glass masters, I originally started calling my brother that because it's an Albanian saying that it looks so good that it looks like glass. Like, glass has no imperfections at all. So I translated it to English. I was like, oh, my brother is a fucking glass master because he makes them look. And then everybody calls themselves glass master. Anyways, so that's, I think, that's when we started making ourselves a specialist in the market. That's when we were like, okay, we start positioning ourselves as the high end painters. And also, this is a nice little segment where you transition from just the average residential painter to the high end custom painter. And then you can be like, okay, now I offer a premium product. I offer this good services. I'm the only one who can do this finishes. My cabinet finishes are impeccable. Now I can be the premier painter. Now I can shift my branding. People start respecting you more. People start calling you. I remember people are like, oh, we only want you guys to do this project. I don't care how much it
Still to
costs.
this date, back
Oh,
in
yeah.
Michigan, oh, I can't really come up there,
Yeah.
and they're literally tell us like, how much would you want for you and Radion to come up here? I don't know. It's
Literally.
gonna be very expensive, and
That was a point. Like you asked me what customers and what new markets. I think that's when we start tapping into the high end market really. Before just anything that would come our way, but also our marketing and branding shifted, and also we start positioning ourselves as a specialist. The more high end market start approaching us, and they were coming directly to us just because of who we were and how we were presenting ourselves within the market, and also how we were marketing ourselves. I think that played a huge role.
yeah, we started working on the more expensive homes. People would see it, and then even when we go to the lesser expensive ones, they would still feel like, oh, I'm getting these high end finishes from these guys
Yeah.
that work on multi-million-dollar homes. So it really set the tone that hey, we're the top dogs in this
Yeah.
industry.
Yeah, if you guys go back a couple hundred posts when we're still doing full time business in Michigan, you can see some crazy houses that we did there. Friggin' from 5,000 square feet to 10,000 square feet. It was nuts. And those people were only calling us just because of how we positioned ourselves into the market.
What operational changes or efficiencies can I implement to support this growth?
All right, we'll go back to the episode Know Your Numbers. Right now, you fired yourself from the technician and the manager position. Right now, you're the strategist and the visionary of the business. Number one, you have to keep track of all your numbers. This is a good point where you can maybe hire a virtual assistant to keep track of all those, or if you can swing, depends on how much money you're making and what your overhead is, you can hire like a full-time assistant that keeps track of everything, keeps track of your KPIs. Go back to the KPIs episodes, guys. This is the point where you start implementing all those KPIs and you religiously study them. Those are the number one operational changes that need to happen for you as a business owner. You need to start looking at your business just in numbers perspective. So your business anymore is not painting houses. Your business is numbers right now. You're looking at how many jobs you're producing. You're looking at your gross profit margins. You're looking how much your crews are producing. You're looking at your overhead costs. You're looking at your return on ad spend. You're looking at every single number that has to do with your business. And then that's why it's going to help you to start determining how you can scale your operation. And then efficiencies. The efficiencies just go back to the SOPs, man. It's just like making sure your managers are following the SOPs and they're producing those jobs at scale, because you're going to get to the point where you're running 10 crews at a time And then you have to make sure every crew is performing the same. Like we said, we don't have any bench players. Everybody's a starter. And you have to make sure that quality stays high. Even now, the level that we do work, like at the scale that we do work right now, every job gets produced the same, no matter who does it. If it's a sub crew, if it's full-time employees, if it's here in Tampa, if it's in Sarasota, if it's in fucking Miami, tomorrow we're going to Orlando. The job is gonna be done the same way from no matter what crew goes there. And this point, it's this these jobs are gonna get done the same, no matter if me or Carmelo are there. That's when the efficiencies start getting implemented because me or my brother, we don't have to be there anymore to make sure those jobs get produced the right way or we get paid. Or if an issue arises, now our managers are there to control the issue, fix it, handle the customer. They don't come to us like crying and nagging and fucking like, oh,
It's not sticking. No.
shit. So those are the efficiencies that you start implementing right now. And then there's gonna be growth pains here too. Your managers are gonna fuck up. And like we said in the beginning of the episode, patience again comes in. You have to be patient with your people. You can't expect them to be like yourself. You have to be patient. You have to let them grow into their roles. Let them fuck up. At this point, like we said, you went through a valley, you have a little cushion, you can afford taking some hits. Invest in taking those hits and let your people learn from those hits, the lessons. I remember with Mitch, I was like, in the beginning, I was like, oh, you can't fucking, you have to price every job correctly and all that. And I was putting a lot of stress to him. Plus, he didn't have any room for error. And he was a horrible salesperson. Now I'm like, hey, you know what, man? Fuck it. If you fuck up a job, who cares? If you underbid it, who cares? Just learn from it and move on. This is the point where also you let your people within your organization make the mistakes. And you're not, even if they make a mistake, you're not fucking cursing them out and you say you suck and you're like, I can do it better. I'll just do it myself. This is the point where you just let them take the L and then also take a lesson from the L that they took. Pretty vital if you want to grow, because you can't be doing everything yourself. Or when things go wrong, you can't just jump in there and try and fix things. You have to let things figure out themselves, unless it's like some emergency, like the other job that we had to go fix ourselves Sunday.
Yeah, that's okay.
It happens, even at this point.
Shit happens. But again, like you said earlier in the previous episode, just throw them in the water.
Throw them in the water. Let them fucking learn how to swim.
Another question which I really like, should I invest new technologies or tools to improve productivity? And I'm a big believer that there's so many great apps out there or services, for example, like QuickBooks, High Level, or even some new AI technologies that cut back so much time for you to, let's say, like itemize transactions, all that, do your job cost analysis for you, that you could invest into somewhere else.
Yes.
I'm a big believer that you should really invest in technologies and tools to improve your productivity.
He's such a big believer that he's investing in this new software that me and my accountant started, CloudBooks. Check it out, guys.
Saves you lots of time, gives the financial reports for you, teaches you how to read them. Huge time saver.
So yeah, we are such believers that we literally created our own software and technology for it. We are huge believers into investing in technology and software because everything is tech right now. Not only your marketing, but your work orders, your estimating, the way that you do your change orders, your crew leaders get their scope of work. Besides the financial reports and then the P&Ls and like the financials and all that, just the day-to-day operations. It makes, for example, like Google Calendars. Like
something so simple. It
something
just
so
streamlines
simple.
your whole day-to-day process.
Yeah, definitely at this point, this is the point where you start investing back in the business in software technologies, shop, work vehicles, equipment, better sprayers, things that will streamline your process, make it faster. But yeah, technologies are huge. What's gonna make your day-to-day operations easier, more streamlined, more efficient,
more organized too?
More organized. Organization. Oh, good pass right there. Organization at this point is huge. These technologies, whatever you invest in, they're gonna help you stay organized because at this point, getting to $1 million a year, things will start getting a little bit hectic. You might have 5 crews running. You might have 100 leads a week coming in, 200 leads, 500 leads a month. You have to make sure you make touches with all of them. You have to make sure that you're not missing any good leads. You have to make sure, like even us in the beginning, when things start getting too hectic with the marketing, we're missing appointments or we're not responding to people or things we get lost because we didn't have those technologies. Now we make sure all of that gets tracked. Going back to tracking, those apps, software, technologies, they help us stay on track and also keep things organized. And it makes it easier. Like I can go on my phone, I can look what's in Carmelo's calendar. I can go on my phone on my computer and see what
Where
we
this
have.
crew is going to be
Yeah,
this week.
where yeah,
Everything from the reminders, the appointments,
yeah.
where everybody's going to be that specific day, all of that.
What appointments the sales reps have.
Mhm.
I can track the performance of every sales rep. I can see how much they sold. I can see if a sales rep is performing or underperforming. All these things at this point where you're the strategist and the business owner, they're vital because let's say a sales rep is not performing and then it's burning through leads, you're losing money at this point. Because let's say a sales rep gets 50 leads a month and only sells 5, there's a big problem right there. Like, what the fuck happened to the other 45 leads? Was it because they were bad quality leads and then the marketing is not good? Or is it because you're not performing, you're not following the sales process, you're not making your touches? You need the software to keep track of all that because you cannot keep everything in a notebook
Yeah.
at this point. And like we said, this is the point where you're setting the groundwork, which is going to get you to multiple 7 figures. Because at multiple 7 figures, you're not going to swing it with one sales rep. You're going to need multiple. You're going to need multiple crew leaders. You're going to need multiple project managers. And then you can't just fucking be in a group chat and try and keep track of all that. It's impossible. It gets too crazy. We tried it.
Yeah.
You have to have the software and the technologies.
And the phrase we really like to use in this podcast is separate yourself from the competition. And that will literally separate yourself from the competition because the average painting company, they just have everything off the top of their head. They don't
Yeah,
really
or
have anything.
they'll use like some basic software,
Yeah.
just fucking Joist or something like that.
So yeah, that will literally separate you from the competition when you want to get to the 7-figure mark.
Yes. Also, when you present things, like when they see that you have fancy software, you're accepting credit card payments, which is huge at this point because a lot of people love paying with their credit cards. This is the point where you're like, okay, you need to be a merchant, you need to have your little uh, swiper, then you need, or you need to send like us, we send links with QuickBooks. You make it seamless. This is the point where you're not going to every job site collecting a check. The job gets finished. Your crew leader gives you the green light. It's finished. And then you just have your office send the bill out. You just go on QuickBooks and you send them an invoice. Gets paid. Boom. You're not at the point anymore where you're just like chasing every check. Now you're at the point where you can afford billing. You have money in the bank. You can you can like wait for your money and all that. You can send the invoice. You're not on your customer's ass and all. You still have to be on your customer's ass.
Sometimes you have to.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Some people are like that, you know. You just gotta learn how to deal with it.
Yeah, guys. Like
and now you have the cushion to.
when we say
deal with
50% deposit, 50% due upon completion means once we're done, we expect to get paid. Like I don't go to a restaurant and eat
it. And then
and then be like, okay, I'll
4
pay you
days later.
tomorrow. I'll pay you 3 days later. I'm like, what the like? What restaurant do you go to that does that? I haven't been to one yet. It's the same with painters or contractors. You know, the terms you have to follow your terms.
And then one last question I want to ask you before we move on to any other questions you might want to go over through Instagram is what strategies can I use to increase customer retention and referral rates?
All right. So this is my favorite word: lifetime value.
LTV.
LTV. You are at the point right now where you're a pretty established business. You went through your growth pain. You went through your little valley. People know of you. They know you do good work. They know you have the best personal guarantees. They know you're the glass masters. Now it's the point where you establish your market dominance. For example, who's the guy to call when you want your cabinets refinished the best way? You call the glass master. Who's the guys you call when you want to get a full renovation, 4,000 square feet done in under 2 weeks?
You call Olympian.
And we've done it multiple times. Who are the guys who get shit done? Who are the guys who come in there and they prep meticulously? Who are the guys who keep everything clean? Who are the guys when things go wrong, they're right there to fix it. They don't fucking screw you around. They don't go through like manufacturers bullshit and all that. They're right there to fix it. This is the point where you start retaining your life, like your key relationships, and then people start talking. And the more you do those things, the more your retention level will go up. And that's how you build like the lifetime value. You do those things, people will talk, people will refer you, and then also come in with the other things that we said, the referral fees, the finder's fees, all those things. This is the point where you start thinking as a strategist. Like, if I give Carmelo a $500 referral fee because he got me this job, Carmelo subconsciously be like, okay, every time he's gonna be conditioned, every time I get Redion a job, I get $500. It's like a dog. Dog does a trick, he gets a cookie.
Start sniffing.
So every time I give him a cookie, he gets me a job. It's the same thing. No, those are the things that you start investing, not only in your business, but you start investing in relationships. I think that's how you build LTV. And the biggest jobs that we've got, they come from key relationships, referrals, or like we said earlier, this fucking content got me like 5 jobs in 1 week. Like, what the fuck? He's like, oh, I've been following you on Instagram. He was mind blown with our prep work. He's like, I've never seen painters do things that way. And people talk. Plus, you showcase your stuff and all that online, you see. But people talk, man. Your market is not as big as you think. Even like in Miami, which is a massive market compared to Tampa, people talk. The word of mouth just goes out fast. Like, even like with Precision, we've been there running ads for like 6 months now. And we're getting a lot of referral work from realtors, designers, with our referral programs and referral fees. People keep referring us. They like their finder's fees. Huge.
What goes around. And a strategy that I like to use sometimes when we don't ask for reviews from clients, because it happens, we forget, or, whatever else might happen. Every time they just go out of their own way and write a review, I just reward them for their taking the time to write that, show us feedback, tell us about their experience. Yep. I reward them $20, $50 gift card to wherever they want. It's just a few dollars, but always they will say, oh, every time painting comes up, I always have the best words to say about you guys. Any of my friends or relatives ever ask about that, I know who to recommend for them to call.
Or when they comment on our posts, they put us on their stories.
We have their numbers on our customer list, on our database. So like, hey, thank you for taking the time to write those kind words for us. Here's coffee on me.
These are the things that will help you get to that 7-figure mark. And those are the things that you need to start thinking of as a business owner, as a strategist, and as a visionary. Because now you're thinking long term. You're in this business. You survived the infancy stage. You survived the survival of going broke. Now you're like, okay, I'm onto something. Now I can build something great. And this is where your mindset has shifted. Like, you're not only doing things for the next 2-3 months, you're doing things for the next 12 months, 24 months. Everything that you're putting in your business right now, you're not expecting an immediate result because you're not struggling. You're not surviving right now. Now you're building a business. You're building an organization, a brand that's going to thrive in the years to come. Like us, we're not going anywhere. We're going to be in this business forever. So we're thinking like, okay, we want to retain those customers in the next 5, 15, 20 years. So when they keep buying new houses or a first single family home, when the new family with 1 kid wants to upgrade to like, and they have like their 2 or 3 kids and they want to get a bigger house, we want to be the guys who they call. That's how that LTV grows.
All right. Do you have any more questions from Instagram you want to go over, or?
No, I think that's, I'll answer the rest of the questions on my stories.
So that was it. That's the strategies and the mindset you need to have to get from 500, 7 figures.
And then guys, I'm not going to charge anything. I don't want any money. I just want to get some feedback from people who are at this stage right now, 500K. Just text me. We're doing this podcast, guys, so we can assist you to get from 500K to $1 million. That's why we're giving all this for free. All the sales processes, all the systems, all this mindset, all the strategies. Just send me some messages and let me know what are some of the struggles that you're having. What's holding you back to get from the 500K to $1 million mark a year? I'd love your feedback, and then we'll help you for free. We don't want anything. We're not going to charge you in consulting fees. We just want to hear what are some of the struggles that you guys are having, and we'll be gladly help you and assist you to overcome those challenges. And I hope you find some value on what we had to talk about today. So this will wrap up this episode of the Dirty Painters podcast.
Be sure to follow our business on Instagram at Olympian Painting and also our personal pages, Olympian_Redion, Olympian_Karmelo, and also the podcast page. Check out our episodes and our sick content over there.
Guys, if you like this episode, be sure to share with a fellow painter or tradie. Until next time, this is Redion.
And I'm Karmelo.
Signing off from the Dirty Painters podcast. Thank you guys.
See you later.